think I was born with this. As long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a firefighter. That was it. There was no second guessing it. There was nothing else I wanted to do.
Being a firefighter, being an EMT or paramedic, that's not really my job title. My job title is public servant, and that's what the job means to me.
That's what it's all about. It's about serving the community, it's about serving the public. It's about always knowing that we're able to walk into a chaotic scene and create some sort of order out of it.
Everybody plays a role, and without everybody playing a role, you fail.
It's a big responsibility. I mean, every time you get called out, our job is to save a life, whether it's fire, whether it's EMS.
You're going to see traumas, you're going to see death, you're going to see permanent disability, you're going to see suicide.
You don't want to see that stuff, but that's what we're in the business of handling that. We know that's going to happen. It happens across our nation every day, every state, every city.
That's a lot to deal with. And no matter how much you train, no matter how much you work, no matter how much you pre-plan or prepare, there are things that are going to happen that you cannot change.
And whether you like it or not, that's part of signing on.
It's just a tough job. I mean, mentally, it's probably one of the hardest jobs you'll ever have.
30 years ago, I guarantee you mental health, PTSD wasn't even a topic.
When I went to school as a paramedic 25 years ago, you learned the very basics of how to deal with that kind of stress.
It wasn't something that we were aware of that we had or somebody had.
Backtrack time 20, 30 years ago, and you go on a call as a firefighter. The response may have been something like what I call tuck and stuff. Just tuck it and stuff it. Just ostrich it. Put your head in the sand, never happened, don't worry about it.
Early on, I think as a fireman, everybody thinks you're a big burly man and you can handle anything that you can do, but we still get affected by just like everybody else.
I think mentally we're different because the general population, they might see a family of 3 killed in a car accident and go, oh gosh, that's terrible. Well, this family here goes to that family of 3 killed in a car accident and may have seen them taking their last breaths because their car was so crushed by the semi that they pulled out in front of.
PTSD is a post-traumatic stress disorder that you suffer from a traumatic event.
There are certain things that are unchangeable in this job. You cannot change the fact that we are going to see people die. You can't change the fact that we are going to face problems that we can't solve.
I've ran plane crashes, I've ran shootings and stabbings and hangings and rapes and you name it.
I can go back a few years ago where we were actually working at the same station and we had a terrible call where a 3-year-old got run over by his dad accidentally, and every single person at the station that day had approximately a 3-year-old. And we all went to that call. It was terrible. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It was rough. For me particularly, it wasn't until a day later, about 24 hours later, that I found myself at home by myself, sitting down and kind of reliving the entire experience that I had just gone through the previous day. And that's when it hit me, and that's when I broke down.
It's tough. And to go back to that call, the infant was the same name as my daughter. So it was tough. And it's hard to handle.
We all got together and we spent a few hours just talking about it. Everybody cried, everybody hugged, and the next day we were able to move on and love each other the same way we did.
Those who have been in the fire service, who haven't really come to grips with the fact that it affects them, it has affected them to some degree, and if it has, or if they haven't felt like it has, it will affect them at some point. I think it's something that everyone needs to be 100% aware of.
And it can just be one call. It could be multiple calls over years, and then all of a sudden something just gets you.
You should look at that as not a matter of if, but when. When is it going to hit me?
This job, it wears on you. Sleep deprivation, exposure to smoke and exhaust fumes in the bays. It's proven that when these tones go off and they wake you up at night, you get an adrenaline dump on your body. It's terrible for you. So our typical life expectancy is also less than the general public.
We were losing firefighters to cancer. We were losing firefighters to early death with cardiac disease. We were losing firefighters to PTSD, suicide. We were losing firefighters very early on.
I think we lost a lot of people, and that made firefighters angry that so many people started dying, and they wanted to figure out why.
I said, listen, we have a gap in healthcare, in society, in the United States, and in this department, and we need help.
The fire service have finally started taking very, very big steps into fixing something that has become a major issue.
There is a presumptive bill out there for firefighters for PTSD right now. That wasn't there a year ago, right? And 10 years ago prior to that, nobody even thought about that.
In the fire service, in the US at least, we're losing more than 100 firefighters to suicide every year. That's a bigger number than firefighters that are lost on the line of duty.
Instead of being a tuck and stuff type of phenomenon, it's now a change the thought process.
We're actually concentrating on the new firefighters coming into the service. We talk to them about having a life outside of work, having hobbies, and having a family support system that understands the risks that they face.
I think we're right at the cusp right now of really getting the help that we need.
You talk about it, you're open, you're honest with your coworkers, with the guys at the station, with your family at home, that, you know, hey, what I saw yesterday bothered me. Can I talk about it?
You just feel the camaraderie, you feel the brotherhood, because these are people that share the same passion as you. That's something that no other job has. You don't walk around, people don't walk around wearing a shirt that says, I'm the electrician and I'm proud of it. No, people walk around saying, you know, I'm a firefighter and I'm proud of it.
And we're all in it together. We know that if one person goes down, somebody's going in after them. If that person goes down, somebody's going in after them. And we're in it together, and we're either gonna come out together or we're all gonna go down together.